carried. That's the adoption of the agenda. Turning to the minutes of our August 24th meeting. A motion to accept the minutes as presented. Moved by Councillor Walsh, seconded by Councillor Stoyles. Are there any errors or omissions from the minutes of August 24th? Errors or omissions? Errors or omissions relating also to the action report, which forms part of the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call it. All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried. Business arising from the minutes of August 24th. Councillor Tessier, please. Floor, turn on your mic if it's not on.
Item 619, the Hillside Subdivision Development. 2 weeks have passed, and we had discussed the area that's in front of, or the area, the little tear up there on Gadwall. And we said that we'd give them 2 weeks to, the developer 2 weeks to have a look at getting that remediated, repaired, and to date it still has not been done. I'm just wondering if any plans are in the works to ensure that that work gets done in the very near future. I think it's important that we start looking at some serious timelines.
Mr. Yevchek, we look to you for a response on all of this.
Your Worship, I did indicate to the developers that we would give them some time, given that they were involved with some discussions with contractors. We did say we'd give them a couple of weeks, so it really depends on what council wishes to do. They have not done any work, and I'm not aware of any work being pursued by them.
Well, 2 weeks have passed. Should we now give them a timeline? How does council feel? Councillor Tessier?
Well, my question is, we can certainly give them a timeline, and it would be certainly better to have the work done by the developer so it's consistent within that area. However, if they can't meet their timeline, they'd have to be able to commit to it. And if they can't meet their timeline, we had discussed undertaking the work ourselves. But again, understanding that it would be put in order as well with other jobs that we have going on right now as well. So I think whichever is probably the nearest completion date is probably what we should look at.
All right. As I understand it here from the actual report itself, we were going to make contact with Synergy, the developer, advise them of the 2-week time frame, and with respect to repairing the area to the entrance to Godwell Place, it was requested that Synergy be asked to consider this work a priority. In the meantime, the city would tentatively schedule the work to be done by city forces, with the associated costs charged to the developer should the work not be completed by the developer at the suggested 2-week time frame. Was Synergy advised that we wanted this done in that 2-week time frame when we made contact with them subsequent to the meeting of August 24th? Mr. Yevchek?
Your Worship, yes, they were advised. We immediately after our last meeting, an email did go out, and they did respond, as I mentioned earlier, that they were in discussions with contractors.
Right.
But they have obviously they haven't reached the whatever agreements they have with their contractors in terms of continuing the work.
Okay.
So I guess it becomes a question if council wishes to have the work done at this point in time, then maybe there's a need for alternate action by council.
Thank you. I would say to council then, maybe what we should consider is requesting that city forces tentatively schedule the work and that we would undertake it, given that there are negotiations with these contractors and others, and I understand they are facing some challenges with the overall development. It might be in our interest to get that, because it's a small piece of work that we're talking, it might be in our interest to get that done. If we say, well, we're going to wait for you, we could be waiting a long period of time. How does council feel about that? And I'm going to turn to Mr. Lush for a second. Can our forces undertake this work, Mr. Lush?
Yes, yeah, we can do it. It's not as small as it appears. We've got to dig the water line back up, and because there's I don't know what the technical name, but there's I guess a water tap to flush out the pig. So yeah, we can do it, no problem. We just need you to give us the go ahead, and we will put it on the schedule to get it taken care of. Start it by the end of the week.
All right, council, comments or thoughts?
Would all associated costs be billed back to the developer?
I would assume the answer to that is yes. Yes.
Okay. Oh.
All right. So how long a time, Mr. Luss, would it take to actually do the job from start to finish? We're making it tough on you, I know.
That's a tough question.
We're making it tough.
2 weeks is reasonable once we start. Within 2 weeks is a day or two dig up, and then we got to reinstate a curb, and then we have to do some asphalt repair, and then we actually have to do some work on the snow side fence. I'm going to say
So
get ready.
we-
So
Talk a
2
couple of weeks, yeah.
But we get the part in front of Hilliers. We'll make that a priority.
Okay.
We'll get it
Any other
repaired.
comment, Councillor Stoyles?
We have a holdback funding.
Yes,
have
we do.
money there, so
Yeah.
the money would be just taken from that. We haven't got to go to court or anything to get the money. We do have money in a pot that we
Correct.
do with every developer. So
Correct.
the money will be used to do this work now
Yes.
if we need to
If
do
we
it.
need to, yeah.
Right.
So, Council, and I guess what we have to consider is there another time frame? Are we going to say to these people, you've got till, I don't know, what's the date today? This is the 7th of September. You got till the 21st, and you got another 2 weeks, and then as of Monday the 23rd, we're going to start work there. Is that a reasonable? I'm saying it to Council and to Mr. Lusham. Am I getting a nod that that's a reasonable
Oh, no,
thing?
I'll just give Synergy a call. They're not unreasonable. They'll say, yes, go ahead right away, or no, we don't have arrangements. It's just a call, and I'll follow up with a letter. It's not difficult.
All right, so
I'll
when
take care
could
of
we
it.
start, then? What would be a reasonable start time for us?
Before the end of this week. Before the end of this week.
Before the end of the week?
Yeah.
All right,
Weather
thank you.
dependent.
All right. Let us hope. Yeah, let us hope we don't have that. I'm going to look to the CAO for a little direction here. I'm assuming that to do all of this, as we've indicated here, we require a motion of council. Councillor Tessier, you brought it up. Do you want to make a motion to that effect?
Yep. I move that the city undertake the work to repair the portion of asphalt and curb in front of the Hilliers property on Gadwall Place Crescent, proceeding immediately upon confirmation from Synergy.
And I will second that motion.
Moved and seconded. To the motion, any discussion?
Maybe add to the motion.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lewis?
And add to the motion, all costs will be recovered from
Yes.
Synergy.
And the motion should reflect that all costs will likewise be recovered from the developer. Thank you. Any other questions or comments from council? We'll call it then. All in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. Other business arising from the meeting of August 24th.
Very quickly, Your Worship.
Councillor Walsh.
646, we did go through the online swim registration.
Didn't work as well as it should have, hey?
Well, it worked reasonably well for a first time, but this was basically done using the software provided by Book King.
Yeah.
There were some glitches, particularly in the morning, and the glitches were primarily with people who were trying to register from their homes, which is the greatest convenience, obviously. Sometimes they were either not getting a confirmation, which concerned them, and they actually showed up to the site, or they were getting a confirmation that ended up, for whatever reason, being forwarded to their junk email box, and they weren't getting it and receiving it. So I think it's fair to say that there were problems. Ironically enough, we didn't receive a single complaint. We didn't receive any emails or any.
I didn't, not one.
No, I checked this afternoon actually with the office, and Sharon said not a complaint, which probably only suggests that it's a heck of a lot better than it used to be, but still needs some refinement. So I understand that on site, Judy and who else was there?
What's her name, Ann?
Yeah, there were several people there. I think there, although the wait still took some time, it worked well. The afternoon went much more smoothly than the morning. So I guess there were expected glitches, and we'll continue to try to work with Book King and refine the process. But compared to the day when I remember the registration, it's definitely a step forward and in the right direction. So that's good.
How's it going today? I noticed in the minutes it said that we were doing this on August 29th and September 7th. Mr. Osmond, how's it gone today?
Your Worship, is going well now. With the e-commerce is working well. People are registering okay, but don't have to register now. Of course, we're blocked up.
Help.
It's good to say that we've 50% of the people that registered online.
50%.
50%. So first time around, 50% is not a bad situation. We did have a few glitches, as Councillor Walsh told us. The problem was more of a technical issue in the system, and once ironed out, we're okay with that. We still have a waiting list we're working around now, but for the most part, everybody that registered online or came in person to the Reed Center are up and running as of tomorrow, so we're in good shape.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Any other business arising from the minutes of August 24th? Going once, going twice. No other business arising from the action report, anything at all. Items listed 1 through 19 in the action report, hearing nothing. We will move along. Council, we have 2 proclamations that we're honored to be able to sign today. We're going to do them one at a time. The first one is for the Association for the Arts in Mount Pearl. I think all of council is very familiar with Christine down here, Christine Hannaberry, and I'm sure she's going to introduce the lady with her because name is gone off my head, and what I'm going to do first, though, is I'm going to read the proclamation into the record and sign it. And Christine, I'm going to ask you to come up here then, if you would, and address what you intend to do with this special week that's coming up, okay? All right. Whereas creativity and artistic expression can be part of every life, whether as an artist, audience member, or fan, and whereas everyone has the right to enjoy and explore their creativity to the fullest, and whereas participation in the arts is widely recognized to increase happiness, relaxation, and life satisfaction, and whereas the citizens of Mount Pearl are becoming increasingly involved in the activities of the Association for the Arts in Mount Pearl, therefore be it resolved that I, Randy Sims, Mayor of the City of Mount Pearl, do hereby proclaim the week of September 11th through to the 17th, 2010, to be Arts Week in the City of Mount Pearl, and I encourage all citizens to use this week to find ways to participate in the arts and to enhance their creativity. And with that, I will affix my signature, and if you would, Christine, I'd ask you to come up maybe here by me, because now that we're on the internet, we've got to use these microphones. And I'm going to ask you to address council from this forum up here. Well, apparently we need it for the internet, so what I'll do is I'll sign this here now and pass that on to you. I'm just going to turn that up there, and you can go ahead and tell us about your plans for the week.
Okay. Before I do that, I'd like to introduce Katie Little. Katie is the Association for the Arts' first full-time employee. We've hired her under the Linkages program, and she's working with us till the end of February, and hopefully longer.
Wonderful. Hi, Katie.
Okay. Well, as you all know, I'm Christine Henneberry, the chair of the Association for the Arts, and we really appreciate the city's support, both for our past and for this Arts Week. As you may know, our association has a 2-part mission to boldly go. No, wait, sorry. One is to allow artists the opportunity to explore their art and to enhance their creativity, to find ways to sell their art or to get better at what they do. And the other is to offer citizens of the city, or from anywhere actually, to the opportunity to explore their creativity at their comfort level. So we have a huge variety of activities coming up this week to reflect that mission. In fact, we have 13 activities going on between the 11th and the 17th. The opportunity for artists to participate in the arts includes such things as readings, meetings with artists of their same type, and performances at Art Fusion, which is our big festival coming up Saturday, which you know all about, and I'll see you all at. For citizens, we have the opportunity for them to come and hear authors read, to participate in theater games, to come and help solve a murder mystery, to participate in various kids events, to come to a storytelling session, or to actually do some hands-on work at community arts projects, including one where we're encouraging people to take pictures with their cell phones at our various events and email them to a certain address, and then we're going to turn it into a huge collage. So we hope to see members of council at our festival and welcome you to join us at various events throughout the week. But we know how are. So if you can't actually get to one of our events, feel free to participate on our webpage, where we'll have daily photo projects for people to undertake, or daily writing exercises for you to undertake. So whichever works for you, we're happy to have you participate in those. So thank you again for your support, and we look forward to seeing you next week. There's a full list of events on our website if anybody wants to check it out. And in fact, many of them are listed on your website too.
I was going to ask, are we linked? Is it because
Yes.
your website and the city's is now connected?
Yes, indeed. We're right on your front page. We're your first picture.
Excellent.
So thank you for that as well.
Thank you, Christine.
Okay, thank you.
Very much. Council, does anybody have any comment or questions for Christine before we let her go?
Quick comment.
Councilor Walsh.
On behalf of all members of council and the Chair of Community Services, I just want to thank Christine and welcome Katie as well. I haven't had the opportunity to actually meet Katie. But just thank you, Christine, and your group for the continued encouragement and expansion of the arts in the fairly vibrant and continuing to grow and expand. And of course, with the support of council and large corporate support, and particularly people like Christine over the last number of years, there's really been, I think, a compelling driving force behind the development and expansion of the arts. It's good to see. They make an incredible contribution to the city. Arts is extremely important to a growing city like ours, and I just wanted to say thank you for all the work that you do and the tremendous initiatives. Getting, for example, funding now for this position is another incredibly important step. It's incremental, but it's important, and it allows them to do things that they otherwise would not have had the opportunity or the time,
Absolutely.
frankly, to do in the past. So good on you, and thanks again for all your hard work.
Hey,
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. I think council, all of us share that opinion. Now, when are we going to have the Mount Pearl Players win the Provincial Drama Festival?
As soon as you start them, Randy.
Oh,
As soon
I
as you
have to start
the-
them. Is that it? Is that it? Okay.
Earl can only handle so much.
All right. I told Christine at some city event one time that my great dream was that one day Mount Pearl would have its own senior drama group, and that we would be rivaling things like the Beothic Players and the Avion Players and Gander and the Carroll Players and Lab City. I was into this when I was younger than I am today, and love it. And I would love for Mount Pearl to win the Provincial Drama Festival. That's what we've got to do. That's one of the things we've got to do. Thank you, Christine, very much. Absolutely wonderful. And it's going to be, I have no doubt, a great week for the arts generally and for artists in Mount Pearl in particular. Thank you again for all of your work. We have a second proclamation today, Council, to sign. This one of I think, a very serious nature. This is on Sexual Violence Awareness Week, September 13th to the 17th. We have with us today in the gallery, and I'm going to ask you to wave so council will know who you all are as I say your names. We have Denise Hayes with us, we have Jan Rose with us, and Ashley Rose, and we want to welcome you to the gallery here in Mount Pearl. I understand, Denise, you will address council. I'm going to ask you to do the very same thing we just did with Christine, but first we'll read the proclamation into the record. Whereas the Newfoundland and Labrador Sexual Assault Crisis and Prevention Centre works to provide response information and education to the province of Newfoundland and Labrador in the area of sexual violence. And whereas the Centre is now commemorating the 11th anniversary of Sexual Violence Awareness Week, as well as the 26th anniversary of the Take Back the Night March, 26 years, to further the common goal of eliminating sexual violence. And whereas the theme for Sexual Violence Awareness Week 2010 is Community plus Awareness equals Change, which recognizes the importance of educating citizens and increasing understanding of sexual violence issues in order to achieve healthy, safe, supportive communities. And whereas sexual violence can affect everyone regardless of factors like age, gender, ability, socioeconomic status, cultural background, or other variables. And whereas Newfoundland and Labrador continues to have one of the highest incidents of sexual assault in Canada, but one of the lowest rates of reporting. Wow. And whereas this municipal government recognizes the need for people of our province to live in safe and caring communities where violence is unacceptable and supports efforts that raise awareness and educate the public, therefore be it resolved that I, Randy Sims, Mayor of the City of Mount Pearl in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, do hereby proclaim September 13th to the 17th, 2010, a Sexual Violence Awareness Week, and encourage all citizens to become involved in activities being organized throughout the week. And with that, Denise, if you'd come forward, I'm going to sign this as you walk up and give you an opportunity to address this major and important issue to the City Council.
Thank you very much. This is, I believe, our second year here at Mount Pearl City Hall. Again, I'd like to thank the City of Mount Pearl, councillors, and of course, Mayor Sims for signing this proclamation declaring it Sexual Violence Awareness Week. As the proclamation stated, here in Newfoundland and Labrador, we do have the highest rate of sexual violence per capita and the lowest rate of reporting. A huge discrepancy of numbers reported to police and the calls we receive for the crisis calls that we receive at our office. is often a difference of in the thousands. Some of the reasons for that, of course, is rural Newfoundland is so large geographically, small communities, where if a woman were to, for example, contact the police, that person could be on a dart team with the person who assaulted them. So there's a lot of complicated issues with that. This is a week of education and celebration. Celebration in how far we've come, but in education in how far we still have to go. Of course, in light of recent events, we realize that this is often the end of where sexual violence can go. And we're also going to take this week to remember that as well. I brought with me 2 volunteers. We have Jennifer Rose. Jennifer has been a volunteer with our center now for 10 years. And we have Ashley Rose, no relation. And she has just started with us. So we're quite happy to have her on board as well. And as our proclamation stated, that this is our 26th annual Take Back the Night. More and more, as a center, we're inviting men to come on board. All of our events are open to men. During the actual march itself, which is only for women, boys under 12, there is simultaneously at the Foreign Room at St. John's City Hall an education and awareness session for men and a discussion of what men can do to help in violence. When that's over, these men will come out and they will welcome the women as they finish the march and come together to celebrate. So we encourage everyone here to come out. I have a list of our events, which I'll leave here with the mayor. And any information, you can certainly call us. We'd love to see everyone come out. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Denise. Any members of council have a question or comment, anything you'd like to address, to ask Denise at this point? Councilor Tessier, you look like you have a question.
I've been to the march before, and it's
Okay.
been a really powerful event. I wonder when it is again this year.
Yeah, it's on the 17th of September, Friday. The march is always on the 3rd Friday of September, and this march is not just happening here in Newfoundland. This march happens all over North America and most countries in Europe as well, and lately in some countries as far away as Africa. And all of these marches are women only. And it starts at Bannerman Park at 7 o'clock.
Okay, any other question or comment? Okay, well, Ms. Hayes, thank you very much for coming in, and we'll give you this copy of the proclamation back. I'm assuming I'm to keep one,
Yep. And-
which we will do.
Yes. And I was wondering if we could have a picture for our records. So.
You can indeed have a picture for your records.
Getting a snap took.
Getting the snap took. Well, we'll do it like, well, you give me the proclamation back.
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's stage it. We'll stage a shot
Here
here
we go.
for the internet. Let's do it like this. Got it?
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very, very much. Thank you. That may be Denise's notes. Thank you very much. We want to congratulate the Newfoundland and Labrador Sexual Assault Crisis and Prevention Center for all of the work that you're doing in this cause. The last couple of weeks, I think all of us can appreciate in this province, this has been a very difficult time. We've had some real horror stories in the last little while, and it just drives home the point that this problem within our communities continues to be a major one. Mount Pearl, as a community, will come together as we have in the past behind your initiatives, Denise, and your group's initiatives, and see to it that we promote and, where possible, educate, and where possible, bring in the kind of regulatory regime that makes it possible to protect the 52% of our citizens who find themselves really vulnerable. The reality of it is this is not a problem for women. This is a problem for men. And I hope to God one day men wake up and find the solution and work on it. Good luck with the week to come. And thank you very much for coming by City Hall today, giving us the honor of signing the proclamation. Anybody else with a comment, or shall we move on with the agenda? We'll move on. Thank you guys very much. Thank you. The next item on our agenda would be communication on general topics. We have none. We do have some correspondence today. Correspondence from James Flaherty, of course, the Federal Minister of Finance. This is in reference to our support for continuing federal support of municipal infrastructure development under Canada's Economic Action Plan. Basically, we've said in our letter, why stop now? let's keep funding infrastructure. And this is his letter to tell us that, well, basically, they're not stopping now, but they are soon. The deficit is going to jump up to bite them. We do have a report here as well with a series of recommendations from the Regional Fire Services Committee dated September 1, and I wonder if Councillor Walsh, being our representative on the Regional Fire Service, would like to comment on it directly. Councillor Walsh?
Thank you very much. Comment on it also need a seconder for the motion, which I'm assuming Councillor Aiken will do. Your Worship, for the last couple of rounds of hires for the St. John's Regional Fire Department, we, as a department, have been criticized, sometimes fairly, sometimes unfairly, I guess, for not being able to engender enough support for hiring of women within the St. John's Regional Fire Department. We've discussed this at length on a number of occasions at the board level, and just recently we had a fairly focused discussion. In fact, it was the first issue for discussion at our meeting on September 1st, which took place in the City of St. John's and which I chaired. And we are putting forth a motion and asking the support of the City of St. John's Council and our own council to put forth a motion that would enable or direct, I guess, Mr. Dwyer to initiate and introduce a yearly departmental program which raises awareness and focuses attention on the orientation of women. So just a program similar to Camp Glow, I suppose, but which, by the way, didn't take place this year, as far as I understand. I should turn on this microphone. That doesn't work without that, does it? But similar to Camp Glow, except that it's focused entirely on initiatives that will be designed for entry into St. John's Regional Fire Department. The problem with even the provincial training, and I know I'm digressing a little bit, but is that, anyone can sign up for these programs. You don't have to be fit. You don't have to meet a certain threshold or criteria or have any certification whatsoever. If you're interested in paying the $10,000, doing the training for the firefighting course, you can do it. Now, whether you're going to be successful or not in doing that at the end of the day is another matter, but you can go out and pay the $10,000 and do the program. So what we're asking is that this be approved by council, supported by St. John's and Mount Pearl councils, that this be a hands-on training program, that it be done in a controlled environment, obviously, which it would be as part of the Regional Fire Department anyway, and that we try to go about in a very proactive way to increase the numbers of women who are trained and certified and actively applying. It's hard to increase your numbers when less than 4% of your applicants are female. It's a tough grind, and that's where we found ourselves in the last 2 rounds of hiring. So with that in mind, I'm asking for the support of council to support this initiative. There will be some money implications applied to this, of course. A program will need to be developed and paid for, but I think it's a very worthwhile initiative, and it'll be an important first step for us being a little more proactive in terms of encouraging the hiring of female firefighters, and I so move.
It is moved by Councillor Walsh, seconded by Councillor Aker, that we support the Regional Fire Services Committee in their proposal to introduce a yearly departmental awareness program structured similar to Camp Fit and Camp Glow, the intention of which would be to provide females with an opportunity to obtain a general awareness of what is involved in firefighting and subsequently determine if they wish to pursue such a profession. The yearly program would be developed and introduced in 2011. Any question or comment from members of council to the motion? Other than, if I might to say, and I think all of council would agree, this is a tremendous initiative, trying to attract more competent people, particularly females, in what would be considered non-traditional occupations is an ongoing effort in pretty well every field. It's good to see that the St. John's Regional Fire Department is getting on board here and being, proactive, innovative, and in front of that kind of an initiative. The more the better. With that, if no other comment, I will call the question. All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried. We'll move then now to committee reports. The first report I have in the book is Community Services. Councillor Walsh, floor is yours.
Thank you very much. The first item here deals with our fall activity guide for the department. We had 3 different groups that expressed interest in the quotations, but only 2 of them were actually able to submit a bid on time. And the low bid was Transcontinental for $8,506 to do that publication, and we recommend that it be provided to them at that cost, and I so move.
Moved by Councillor Wall, seconded by Deputy Mayor Locke, in the absence of Councillor Lane as the ongoing member today. Question or comment? All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
Your Worship, the Sports Systems Canada were involved in TP 10 and 11 for the supply and installation of the aluminum bleachers at the Team Guzhou complex. The deficiencies that were there have been rectified, and the committee is now requesting the release of the security deposit of $31,237 based on the approved tender, and I so move. I should comment as well that they did a fabulous job on this. These were made to order for the facility there. They look sharp. They're very, very functional, and I think we made a wise decision to go the extra mile and have these developed rather than use some generic bleachers and hope that they'd fit and look right. These were developed specifically for that location, and I think they're really sharp. And so we're satisfied that all deficiencies have been corrected, and I'm asking for the release of the funds, and I so move.
Moved, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Question or comment? All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion's carried.
Related to the glacier expansion, Your Worship, there is a fair amount of data and voice cabling that needs to be done. We put a tender out for that work, and we had two bids. The low bid is from Century 2K for $27,123.60 plus HST. As you can tell, the two bids were very, very competitive with just a few $100s of each other. But as is our practice, if they meet the qualifications, we go with the low bid, in this case Century 2K, and I'm asking for the support of council for that motion, and I so move.
Moved and seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Question or comment? All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion carried.
The next one, of course, relates back to what Christine was talking about in the Association for the Arts of Mount Pearl. This Saturday, the 6th annual Art Fusion is taking place. Starts at 11:30. It's right next door in the field here, hoping for a good day, obviously, weather-wise. Otherwise, I assume they'll move into the building here and utilize the space here. I haven't otherwise seen a plan for a rainy day site. They were inside as well, yeah. So this involves musicians, dancers, hula hoopers, kids crafts. An interesting thing to start off is they're having a hat, making contest for kids at 11:30, and then they're actually going to parade those at 12:10. So it's a full day of activities straight through till 6 o'clock, and we encourage people to come out and participate, and just again encourage and support the artists of our community. We did have a meeting. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there, but I think we had a couple of members of council. Were you there, Councillor Tessier and Councillor Aker, at the skate park meeting on September 2nd? That was last Thursday. We had 13 people attend the meeting, and we did email the draft design to the people whose website or email addresses we had prior, who had attended previous meetings. It was just an opportunity to get, again, final feedback on the layout and design of the park. I understand from talking to Mr. Osmond that the kids who attended were really pleased with the design and with the layout, and they did provide, again, some good feedback and with some small modifications and revisions to truly make it their own. The people who are designing the park have vast experience in doing that on the national scene. So what we're going to do now is take that information, incorporate it into the final design based on the feedback that they provided and the other feedback that we get electronically from some of the other participants who've been there and supported this initiative in the past. I will say I believe I understand to be correct that they were also supportive of the fact that to do this right and to do it properly, after spending this much money and going through the consultation process as we have, doing this next spring just seems like it makes a lot of sense, and they seem to understand that. They were obviously or would be disappointed, as we are ourselves, but doing it next spring, making sure that we have it done right and properly and at a proper time of the year makes an abundance of sense. We're not building this for a year or two. This is going to be there for the long haul. So I just wanted to bring council up to speed on that. And again, thank the young people for their continued support. They, you know, they're there, they're supportive, they're interested, they're keen, and they, after all, are the users of the park. So it's important that they be there. And you know, I applaud Mr. Osmond and people at the department for giving them the opportunity to have their say in the design of the park.
They've had some quite legitimate input as
They
well.
have, very good. And the webinar in particular was an interesting, I did happen to get there for that meeting and saw the webinar in action and changing, you know, modifying the course itself and all kinds of other things. It's an interesting technological advancement, I guess. Well, they can do it right on the spot while they're talking to them.
Yep.
And being able, so, you know, it's a sign of the times, I suppose, and it's great that the young people came out and supported it. No motion required for that, Your Worship. The Park Patrol shift ends, of course, today. In fact, this is the last of their shifts with the Labor Day weekend coming to, this, you know, I guess calling the end or the official end of summer. It's not the official end in the calendar, but I just want to thank them all again for their work. They do a great job in terms of being a presence, being the eyes and ears, and an important link with the municipal enforcement and with the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary. So on behalf of Council, I just want to say a sincere thank you and express our gratitude to them, and of course to the municipal enforcement and the RNC for the support that they continue to provide for them as well.
Great job.
Finally, the traffic calmer, as you've probably seen over the last few days, has been strategically placed at Topsail and Commonwealth and displays the sign, "School starting soon, student safety first, drive safely." That sign will be mobilized throughout the next several weeks in different school zones, but I think it is an important reminder to parents that with you know, the tremendous increase in morning traffic in particular, and the many buses on the roads as part of school, it requires getting out a little earlier, requires a lot of safety, and of course the first few weeks of school, all the new drivers in particular want to bring the car to school for a day or two, and you know, they require obviously even perhaps a greater attention. I know there was an accident at the intersection of Old Placentia and Commonwealth last night, and a car full of 17-year-olds, and you know, so it requires special care and special attention this time of the year with the back to school. So just a friendly reminder to everyone, and of course wish everyone the very best of luck, including our Deputy Mayor, on the startup of a new school year. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. That concludes the Community Services Report. Any responses or comments to anything presented? If not, we'll move along. We're going to Corporate Services. Councillor Tessier.
Short agenda this week, sir. The first item is a request for a donation from the Mount Pearl Junior and Senior Blades. They're having a fundraiser with the proceeds going towards Kids in Cancer, Candle Lighters, and the Janeway Foundation. And we're recommending approval to provide a $100 donation in support of this initiative by both Mount Pearl Junior and Senior Blades. They're having a golf tournament on September 17th. We've, of course, made a similar donation in the past as well, so I recommend that we proceed with this donation.
Moved by Councillor Tessier, seconded by Councillor Stoyles. All those in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried.
Next item, Your Worship, we have an amended invoices for approval on the lovely
Yep.
orange sheet on your desk. I move that items 1 through 9 be approved in the amount of $2,086,057.78.
Items listed 1 through 9, moved and seconded. Any question or comment on any of the items contained on the list of invoices for approval? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion is carried.
And that's it.
And that concludes Corporate Services. Thank you. We have a report here. It says Planning and Development Department. It is from Economic Development, I am assuming. And that would be Councillor Stoyles. Yes, you do, right there. You're looking at it right there. Yep. Yes, please.
I just assumed it was planning. I'm going under planning. I guess the committee is recommending the gateway signs. The track consultant is the ad was placed in the telegram on September the 11th, and the work is looking to be completed. And of course, track consulting was awarded the contract for this, and we're recommending that it will be approved. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I need to mention.
No,
and it's
no,
just
I
that.
think it's, I don't even think a
that's
motion
it.
is required
I thought
here.
we had brought this in actually
Yeah.
before. This is just for information that this, you know, it was brought, I knew it was brought in before, that it was
Yep.
already approved for the gateway signs, and the signs are all there, as the picture of the new signs that's going to be located. I think we're doing 3 now, is it? Is what we said?
No,
Eventually,
2.
We're doing 2. Eventually, we're going to be doing 5 in all locations
Yeah.
around the city, and the 2 should be up and ready, I guess, within the next couple of weeks. And it's for information.
Both of these particular ones will actually be on Pitts Memorial Drive.
Pitts Memorial Drive.
And they are listed here on the maps, items 1 and 2. Question to staff, the artistic rendering that I have here in front of me of the sign, is that available on our website? Can citizens go in and look at them? See what they look like?
Your worship, not at the present time, but if that's what council wishes to do, we can certainly make them available, yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to recommend to council that this is an initiative we're undertaking. People in Mount Pearl driving in, when they turn off the Trans-Canada Highway at what I always call the CBS turn off, because one way takes you to CBS, one way takes you to Mount Pearl. That first sign is going to be there on that piece of road. And the other one, of course, is going to be coming from the city of St. John's on Pitts Memorial as well, turning into the I guess the far eastern turnoff into Mount Pearl. And it would be nice if people could see what the sign is going to look like, because it is, I think, pretty and substantial. We want it to be a substantial looking thing. Interesting to note, by the way, the signs are not going to be lit. Now, I understand we're not allowed to light them. Is that the idea? I wonder why.
Your
Why aren't we
worship-
allowed to light them?
Your worship, you are allowed to light them if you wish. Becomes a question of cost and location. If there's power lines nearby to the sign, you can hook them up to the power line. If not, then there's a cost of the line coming to the sign. In this case,
We thought of solar power. What happened? It said it was deemed too costly.
very costly to do that as well. Your
Is it
worship.
really?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Because I would have thought that would be an energy efficient, that would make, not only the sign makes a statement, that would make a statement.
But according to the consultants, the size of the solar panel would probably be bigger than the sign itself.
To run that?
Apparently so, yes, sir. So, as a result
That's
of that-
surprising, given that you can get a solar panel that runs a streetlight today. Anyway, okay.
I'm not too sure you can.
So, anyway,
this-
we're on to reflective lettering, obviously, on this thing. All right. So, yes, I'm asking council, would you agree with me? We should put the artist rendition on the website and maybe get some feedback on it as to,
That'd be a
yeah?
good idea. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they can change it at this point. We're going with it now, but
For information only.
for information, yeah. Councilor Tessier, go ahead.
For the proposed location number 2, right now there's a sign indicating the exit onto Commonwealth Avenue. It's 500 meters. Is this sign intended to replace that sign?
It's my understanding that, yes, it will, but we did note at our committee meeting, and we did note to the consultant, that those signs that are there now, actually give you a distance to
Yeah.
to the exit.
That's my question, I guess.
They are presently talking to transportation to see how to ensure that we do have signage that indicates that distance.
Okay.
It
But
will
it-
not
yeah,
be-
but
it will
yeah,
not be
it-
part of this sign.
I think the exit to Mount Pearl, Commonwealth Avenue, 500 meters or whatever, that sign, outside of the fact that, as you can tell from the picture, it's in wicked poor condition. That kind of a sign should still have to stay, shouldn't it? I mean, to indicate where the turnoff is. So where would our sign go in relation to that? Right next to it, or
Yeah, Your Worship-
100 meters away, or?
Yeah, they're going almost in the location in which they are right now. But the discussion with transportation is where will they put the exit sign as a result of this? And they'll make a determination that gives some separation, but it's very visible and gives the appropriate distance to the exit.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you. Any other question or comment on this, the Gateway Signage Project? Okay, that's all there was for Economic Development. Councilor Stoyles?
Done, yeah. We're recommending that it was 3 quotes came in, and the lowest bid for the signs was Barron's Graphic at estimate price of $2,321 plus HST, and this is for the Donovan's entrance sign, and I so move.
Moved and seconded. Question or comment? All those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion's carried. We don't have an artist rendering of that sign, though.
We do, Your Worship, but basically it's, it takes the old sign that we have there currently.
Right.
That was as a result of the Housing Corporation.
Yeah, you mean the headstone sign?
Yes, Your Worship, if you, if you want to refer to it as that. And what we've got is paneling.
Did I say that out loud?
We have paneling on that, and the same type of logo as we have here, branding as we have
Right.
here. And if council wishes to have that on the website as well, we can do that as well.
Yeah, why not? Put them both up there and say, hey, folks, what do you think? I think citizens would like to know. Okay, does that conclude economic development?
That does.
If it does, we are moving on to planning and land use. Deputy Mayor Locke, if you would.
Thank you, Your Worship. The first item here today is a request by the occupant of 1 Hounslow Avenue for a proposed flanking yard garage. And the resident has offered two potential options here. One is an attached garage to connect to the existing structure, and the second would be to build a detached garage as an accessory building. This particular application prompted the residential interior corner lot amendment to permit such development on flanking yards, provided it doesn't impact snow clearing or sight lines and the like. And the regulation amendment that was recently adopted by Council provides Council with discretionary powers pursuant to Regulation 10 to take into consideration a number of matters prior to making any decision. And Regulation 10 is outlined there in your package. The committee agreed that it was Council's desire to amend the regulations to allow consideration of such accessory buildings on interior corner lots. And after reviewing the two options, it's the position of the committee that option 1 is the preferred option, and that would be the garage attached to the existing resident, because this would be the least impact on the abutting property owner. We discussed the fact that if it was a detached garage, the way it would have to be laid out on the property, the adjoining property owner would be looking at a much larger structure as opposed to attaching it to the existing structure. As such, the recommendation is pursuant to Regulation 10 of the Development Regulations. The committee is recommending that option 1 for the attached garage be supported as the preferred option for approval as outlined above, and I so move.
It is moved by Deputy Mayor Locke, seconded by Councillor Aker. Question or comment? I got a chuckle out of Mr. Dunn's letter. Mr. Dunn, in his letter, points out why the two options, either of them, he would favor. But I love that he put on the bottom of option 1, it would create more taxes for the city of Mount Pearl due to the property value increasing. What he never said was, I know you guys love money. But anyway, he was determined to get his garage.
You can't blame him.
We're going to call the question. All those in favor? Contrary minded? Motion is carried. We're not going to raise his taxes.
There you go.
Not for the garage.
The second item, Your Worship, has to do with
The property value will go up. Yeah, exactly.
a request,
Carry on.
a request we've had from the president of the Mount Pearl Lions Club
Yeah.
regarding the placement and erection of Lions Club signs at 4 different intersection locations throughout the city. Each of these signs would measure 2 feet by 2 feet, and these signs are for community-based group, and such signs are quite common right across the country. The Planning and Land Use Development Committee recommends approval of the 4 Lion Club signs at the requested intersection locations within the city, subject to the signs being specifically located by city staff, and I so move.
It has been moved and seconded. Question or comment? I have to tell fellow councillors here, Councillor Stoyles is way ahead of us in the politics game. Beats us down, hands flat. I'm sitting on the deck with the president of the local Mount Pearl Lions Club when she received a call from Councillor Stoyles saying, yeah, that sign thing, it looks like we're going to be able to do that. Isn't that something? And I said, why didn't I do that? I'm sitting here. Why didn't I do that? Just didn't think of it. There you go. You're smart.
Actually,
Watch and learn.
Your Worship, I received a phone call from the President about a donation, a couple of other things, and sometimes we talk about in
And you
committee the
just
whole,
brought it up.
And I didn't bring it up. Now, she had asked me about the signs, and I said, yeah, I'm almost sure that's going to be approved. I said, looks like it's going to be
You know,
approved.
you shouldn't defend it. You should just
So-
smile.
And I will.
All right. All right. You should just smile.
Smooth as silk.
All those in favor of approving the Lions Club
Comment?
Stoyles
Got
motion.
a comment here?
Councillor Tessier.
Didn't we also discuss at community level, though, that when it comes to community groups, this is a nationally recognized group, and this is very common, certainly in other
Yes.
municipalities around the country, just so that, community groups recognize that, it has to be something that is a nationally recognized.
We're not doing this everywhere for everyone, no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is what I think we needed. I think it's important that we certainly bring that to the public's attention as well.
Absolutely. All those in favor, contrary-minded, motion is carried.
Well done, Lucy.
Continuing on, and yes, well done, Lucy.
The
Deputy
ne-
Mayor,
The next item, Your Worship, has to do with
and we're 3 years away from an election, like she's on the ball.
every day is campaign day.
Day.
Commercial Space Inventory Report 2010.
Yep.
This was a project undertaken by some summer students employed by the city. One was the planning student this past summer in collaboration with the student working with the economic development for this particular, again, commercial space inventory. The executive summary is outlined within the kit there, but just to highlight some of the points there. This 2010 report provides a snapshot of commercial growth within the city. The city has been divided into 8 different regions of commercial activity: Topsail Road, Kenmount Business Park, Donovan's Business Park, Glen Hill, Pearlgate Commercial Area, Commonwealth Avenue South, and Commonwealth Avenue, and other. And again, just to highlight some of the areas here, the total gross floor area for commercial activity in 2010 was 673,000 square meters, which may mean very little to most people, but it's a 3.04% increase from the 2009 total floor area. We currently have 458 commercial buildings in the city, with Donovan's Business Park accounting for almost 52% of that. Warehouse, retail, office space accounts for 56%, 24%, and 19% respectively. Mount Pearl currently has a 2.74 vacancy rate, and that's a drop by 1.64 over the previous year. We currently have 27 commercial buildings that have at least some vacant space that's available for lease or for rent. One of the interesting points had to do with the home-based businesses in Mount Pearl. We currently have 123 active home-based businesses in the city, and the overall trend over the last 15 years suggests that this is going to continue to be a preferred type of business within the city. Again, the report was conducted by Anne-Marie Cashin, the summer student for the Planning and Development Department. The full report is available for review at the Office of the Director, and the Planning and Land Use Development Committee is recommending acceptance of the report and a posting of the report to the city's website, and I so move.
Moved by Deputy Mayor Locke, seconded by Councillor Aker. Question or comment?
I was going to say, Your Worship,
Councillor Stoyles.
So in that report is going to identify, because I haven't seen the report, is going to identify every location that there's a vacant property. If somebody was to look for a place to rent, they could contact
I don't
them.
think so.
I'm just wondering if we have that list in our Economic Development Department, that if somebody was looking to rent a space, a business, or
Right.
In Mount Pearl, do we have access to that so that they could contact our Economic Development Department and know where they could go to find, space?
I'm going to say yes, but I don't think it's going to be done in the form of a list that's posted on the web. I don't think that this report does that kind of thing. Mr. Yevchek?
Your Worship, the Economic Development Division keeps an ongoing tally.
Yeah, constant updated list.
Because what happens, as I think it says here somewhere, this is a snapshot. At the date that they actually did the work, which was over a period of a week or so, that's the information at that point in time. What changes? I mean, today, other space can be available for lease or for rent, or some of the space can be taken up, but just gives a snapshot. But that information is available through the Economic Development Division, and we get a lot of calls looking for space, and they are followed up by Brian Elwood, our manager, and quite frankly, I think we have a very up-to-date, current system of identifying available spaces in the city.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor?
Okay. So I called a motion that we recommend acceptance of the report.
Call
and
the
posting.
question.
Yeah.
All those in favor? Contrary minded? The motion is carried.
I don't know
Thought I had done
don't know if you
so.
had done that or not. I had
did not. I
I had
did not.
a blank as well, so I just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Okay, and the next item here, Your Worship, has to do with the Mount Pearl Development Regulations Amendment number 206, 2010, with respect to the Pearl Gate Hotel Amendment on the Olympic Drive site. The City is requesting proposals for the acquisition and development of approximately 3.63 acres of land for a proposed hotel development along Olympic Drive between, shall we say, the former bowling alley and the Glacier Arena there. The sale of the property will be based on a development proposal and bid acceptable to the City. The intention of the proposed regulation amendment is to recognize that a commercial residential use, a hotel, motel, or residential club, is a permitted use in the general commercial use zone in the Pearl Gate Recreation Center. Currently, commercial residential use is a discretionary use. With respect to the existing plans and regulations, this particular proposal is compatible with the spirit and the intent of both the St. John's Urban Regional Plan, as well as the Mount Pearl Municipal Plan 1988, and in each case no text or mapping amendments to these plans would be required for this particular proposal. With respect to the City of Mount Pearl Land Use, Zoning, Subdivision and Advertisement Regulations of 1988, the subject property is located within the Commercial General Land Use Zone, and a commercial residential use is not listed in the permitted use classes. It's listed as a discretionary use. So as is usual, we have a public briefing session for that, and the City advertised the briefing session that was scheduled for August the 30th of 2010. Again, no written submissions in relation to the proposed amendment were received prior to the deadline, so the briefing session was cancelled. However, we did receive written representation from a business owner, Mr. Terry Bell, the owner of Don Cherries up there adjacent to the proposed site, and he was expressing the spirit of his letter was that a second restaurant in the area, which is a requirement of this particular proposal, would have a negative impact on the Don Cherries restaurant in the area. With respect to the Planning and Development Department commentary, the Department noted that this area was rezoned general commercial earlier this year to accommodate a range of commercial uses that included the restaurant, and this zone is identified, in this zone, restaurant is a permitted use. Again, no representation were received at the time of the municipal plan and zoning amendment from public open space to general commercial. The committee did review the representation from Mr. Bell and noted that the City cannot interfere with the marketplace with respect to competition. As was noted by the Department, this area was rezoned to general commercial earlier this year, and the zone identifies a restaurant as a permitted use. As an economic development initiative, Council has determined that a restaurant use had to form a part of this hotel proposal. As such, the recommendation from our committee is recommending the adoption of Amendment number 206, 2010, the Pearl Gate Hotel Amendment, and that is attached, and I so move.
It is moved by the Deputy Mayor, seconded by Councillor Aker. I noticed that the proposal call packages went out and are now available. Have they been picked up? At this point, I understand that there is interest in the hotel development at this point, and that it's quite positive, right? It's looking good for us to get a hotel.
I think 10 were picked up.
Lot of
Your Worship, we've had, I believe, 11 packages picked up.
11.
Now, those are both from interested individuals about just generally what's
Right.
happening, plus bona fide interests. We did hold a consultation, a session with consultants back about a week ago, of which only one of the respondents showed up, but those representatives were quite interested in the site, in pursuing the site.
So let's
there
hope.
is interest in it, yes, sir.
There's progress being made. We will call any other question or comment. we will call it. All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. And the next item here has to do with a proposal for a karate school, 46 Bannister Street. And this particular school is going to occupy a portion of the building at 46 Bannister, and I think that was the location of the previous Body Evolution, the gym.
Look, I wondered,
They're already
46.
started there. I think they were there last night.
Yes, some people have told me that.
They have begun
They have
without
begun.
approval.
High karate, yeah. The city issued a development permit for the subdivision of the building into 3 commercial units, tenant spaces, and the proposal constitutes the first use within 2 of these 3 units. The proposal is a maximum student load of 40 to 50 students, with classes taking place mainly during the evening hours. And of course, this is to move the existing school from Barber Drive to this particular new location. The proposed karate school is considered an educational use, which is listed as a permitted use within the city centre land use zone. And it constitutes a first use within the new commercial units and a change in use, as I said, from the previous Body Evolution gym that was once in the building.
Yeah.
The city's off-street parking regulations, Schedule D, require the provision of 1 off-street parking space for every 5 persons using the facility, which will result in the provision of a minimum of 10 stalls for the proposed use. However, only on-street parking with no designated stalls is available in this area of Centennial Square. And, you know, the parking issue of the square has come up many times before. But again, this is an area that was approved for this, you know, for commercial activity. And as it says here, Condition 2 of the City Centre Land Use Zone Table specifies the following for parking exemptions. So, under the parking exemptions, the authority may reduce or exempt the developments from off-street parking requirements, or they may consider the number of public parking spaces in close proximity to a development when calculating the required number of parking for that particular development. Committee will discuss this. The department has no objection to the proposed use. Historically, as I said, the use of these properties as commercial spaces was originally approved by council without requiring off-street parking. There is on-street parking within the city's right-of-way along the entire length of these particular premises, and this, along with the other parking spaces in Centennial Square, would be used to accommodate the demands for this particular proposal. As such, the committee is recommending approval for the application for a proposed karate school at 46 Bannister Street, and I so move.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Contrary-minded, motion carried.
And the next item, Your Worship, is the development permit list for the date August 21st to September 3rd, 2010. And we have we have 8 developments, development permit numbers there, and I move that these be accepted as presented.
Moved, seconded. All in favor? Contrary-minded, motion carried.
71, I'm abstaining.
With a note made that the development permit number 71, Councillor Stoyles abstains due to
560.
potential conflict of interest. And also item 560, was it?
567.
Also item
560.
560. Okay. Next item.
And the next item, Your Worship, is the building permits, again for the dates of August 21st to September 3rd, 2010. Residential building construction during this time period totaled $701,850,000, while commercial building permits for the same time period totaled $237,250, bringing the total for this time period to $939,100, and I move that these amounts be accepted as presented.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Contrary-minded, motion is carried.
And that is it, Your Worship.
No,
Thank you.
you have an item
Oh,
outside.
sorry,
and-
outside the kit. My apologies. I was looking at the screen and it wasn't there. Thank you. This last item here, Your Worship, has to do with the draft Mount Pearl City Plan 2010 and development regulations. The committee reviewed the most recent draft of the Mount Pearl Municipal Plan Review, titled as City Plan 2010 and the accompanying development regulations. Preparation of our plan and development regulations began in 2010 through a public consultation process that was titled Advancing the Vision. That commenced in 1995 and included a series of public notices, open houses, information sessions, website postings, and private consultations. The public consultation process ended in January 2010. Over the next several weeks, the department will proceed with the final public consultation by planning an open house and a briefing session distributing the notice of these meetings through the newspaper advertisements to mail out to affected property owners, and placing the revised documents on the city's website. Following this public consultation, documents will be reviewed and revised if necessary by council, and then referred to the Department of Municipal Affairs for provincial review and release. And once released by the Department of Municipal Affairs, the documents will then come forward to council again for adoption. And attached on the reverse side of your sheet here is the schedule for the adoption and the approval of City Plan 2010 and the accompanying development regulations. And I bring this forward for the information of council.
Interesting to note that the City of Mount Pearl will move forward with the development of a new municipal plan for the city. Hopefully, we'll have it adopted by the end of the year.
Yes.
By December 31st is the plan.
That's the plan.
And we do that at this point in time. Our sister city is concerned with adopting a new municipal plan because of the regional plan process which we're engaged in. I don't think the two relate. I don't see it as a problem. We can advance our cause inside our own borders without having to worry too much about what's happening at the regional level at this point in time. You know, so that's all good news. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other question or comment on any of that? That concludes all the committee reports. Just flipping through here to see, where did I start new business last time? New business started with Councillor Aker last time. We're going to go to Councillor Tessier. Floor is yours.
Just very quickly, I know that Councillor Walsh, in his report, commended the Department of Community Services for their work with the skate park, and I know Councillor Aker and I attended that meeting, and I also wanted to echo those sentiments, because I think it's really important as a parent of teenagers and as a parent of one in particular who has a vested interest in what's going to happen here and who's been attending the public sessions. It's really important to these young people to have a say in what this park is going to look like. And I think we've got a future, whole series of engineers on our hands, because they really do know what they're talking about when they look at the plans and when they look at what is possible and feasible. And I have to say, I just think that the department and the committee itself just done a bang-up job with this. It's never good when you take away a service that the children have at this time, but we are replacing it, and we're replacing it with something bigger and better. And I know that when they left that meeting the other night, they were just so excited and motivated, and there's been buzz since. So I just wanted to commend the department and, of course, the committee as well. They were stoked. I was going to use the word stoked.
There was buzz. They were stoked.
I was going to use the word stoked, but I figured if I did, the kids would never use it again. So it's ruined now anyway. It's ruined now. It's ruined now. It's no good when your mother uses it. So it's ruined now anyway. So anyway, again, I just wanted to commend the department and the committee for just excellent work with that particular initiative.
Here, here. Deputy Mayor.
Just one item, Your Worship. I just wanted to mention publicly the passing of a former student at Mount Pearl Senior High School, David Lockman. Passed away, I think it was a week ago today. 19 years old. He had a heart transplant.
Beautiful write-up in the paper on it.
Yeah, it was a beautiful write-up. And great kid, just full of personality, energy. I mean, he lived life like he should live life. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to express publicly my condolences to the family. I know his older brother, I think Michael is his name, Mike. I didn't teach Michael, but Michael was working with the city this summer, and I did teach his other brother, Stephen. So again, my condolences to the family and friends of Mr. David Lockman. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, very much. Councillor Aker, I'm going to come up this way today. Councillor Walsh. Councillor Stoyles.
Yes, Your Worship, I certainly have a few things. The Lions Club is having a dance at the Reed Centre, and it's taking place on the 18th of September, and tickets are $10 each, and they have Brian Finn doing the music and the band that evening, and of course they're looking to sell tickets, and tickets are $10 each. And I sent out an email to council and the staff, so if anybody is interested in buying tickets, they certainly would like to see some of council and staff at that event. The Lions Club does a lot of work, volunteer work in the city, and they would like certainly to have some support. The other thing, Your Worship, I wanted to mention was Alan Piercy, one of our municipal enforcement officers, retired last week, and just wanted to say thank you to Alan for all the work he's done over the years. He worked with the city for well over 25 years, and certainly did a great job for us, and wanted to pass along I was out of town and wasn't able to attend the function that the city had for him last week. Also, Your Worship, the convention, the M&L convention, is only a little over 3 weeks away, and of course it's here in St. John's, is in the city of St. John's, and of course Mount Pearl certainly plays a big part. We have several members of staff involved with that convention here, volunteering and that, so I wanted to mention that. I know all our councils and staff is registered in that, but anybody in the region certainly haven't registered yet. We certainly would like to see them at that event. The only other thing, Your Worship, I have two other things to mention, and True Sports is having the symposium, and that's taking place October the 1st and 2nd at Mount Pearl Senior High. And if anybody is interested in attending that 2-day session, they can contact the Sports Alliance, and of course there's information on our website. The only other thing I wanted to mention, Your Worship, after the last meeting, I received several phone calls from people who had contacted me previous to the meeting, thinking that the issue was going to be discussed at council. And every time a resident or somebody calls with a complaint, it doesn't always come before or in the public chamber. We've had a number of complaints about noise in the Farrell Drive area and other areas in the city. And the way it normally works, if we get a complaint, we send our municipal police officers to the area, and they may give a warning, they may go back several times. It may never ever come to the public chamber. Sometimes it may if we have to take action, but what I wanted to say to residents, what was said to me, what's council, if they're not going to bring it forward, it's not that we don't bring it forward and we deal with issues regarding noise or animals or any issue a resident wants to bring. I know I have 2 issues that's relating to nuisance issues, we would call them, relating to the garbage or mess in properties that I've been dealing with for almost 3 months. And it's not that we don't bring it up in our committee meetings and we don't deal with it in committee the whole. They may never ever see these issues discussed in a public forum. And I think it's important to let the public know that just because we don't bring it up in public, it doesn't mean that we are not dealing with the issues and addressing the issues and bringing them back every other week. And like I said, I know it's 2 issues that I've been dealing with, and every time we have a meeting, I bring them up, and when we go up in the back room tonight, I went to 4 locations this afternoon to see if some of the things were done. So we do our work. Everybody, I guess, around the table, if they get complaints, they deal with the complaints that they deal with, but they may never ever come to the public forum. And I wanted to let the public know that just because they don't see it here doesn't mean that we're not dealing with it.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Walsh. We stand adjourned.